Hey, Matan. Real quick, I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
And now, our feature presentation.
Hey guys, what's going on? You are listening to ThisWeekInGeek.net's final live show of 2022. I am your host, Mike the Birdman Dodd. I am joined in the bird cage in the lovely royal city of Guelph, Ontario, Canada. I am joined with
Alex, the producer / cable master.
and from the Garden State in the wonderful US&A, I'm joined with
It's Ken Reels from This Anime.
That's right, guys. We are back here on Twig, and as we most often do each and every single year since I attended the Game Awards for the first time when it was Spike TV back in 2009, we've done some sort of coverage of the Game Awards. We've had people from the former podcast of Nerd to the Third Power. We've had other gaming journalists on, but it's almost consistently been me and Alex. This year we have Ken. Actually, I think, Ken, you were here last year, weren't you?
Yeah, I was here last year.
So this is 2022's Game Awards, where a former president of the United States woke up very confused on Friday morning because the internet. What more can I say? As you heard off the top of the show, 2022 has been a year, to say the very least.
And it can be summed up pretty easily with, what the fuck kind of show is this? Like, I will start by saying, just very simply off the top, didn't Jeff say this was supposed to be a shorter show?
Betrayal.
It actually was a shorter show.
By a half an hour, but then it's still...
I think it was intended to be a half an hour shorter than it was.
Clearly. And at the same time, this felt like the most poorly run show I've ever seen that was considered with this kind of budget.
You know what's weird? I almost disagree
I don't
with
feel
you.
that way.
Yeah, I feel in some ways.
Completely disagree.
I'm not just viewing it from the timekeeper standpoint. Did you see how much the people were walking around when Jeff is talking in front of the camera?
I was about to say, yeah.
There was far too much commotion.
Movement.
And I wonder if it has to do with, during the pandemic, people forgot how to behave civilized when they're on camera.
Well, that might also come down to event staff, because when I was at the Game Awards, like I said, like 1,000 years ago, they had people, you were guided to your seat. They had people who would tell you, okay, you're off camera, you can move now. And to speak about security about this incident, we're only going to talk about this for like two or 3 seconds. They would tell you, you are in the green room, you do not cross this line. You do not cross out of this section. You are escorted to and from your seat. It's a well-oiled machine. The Game Awards this year did not seem like a well-oiled machine.
It looked like a high school production when it came to security and floor management.
Yeah, like floor management was weird this year.
I think what happened this year specifically is because there are some people didn't go to DICE this year, and DICE is usually a really big social event.
Yeah,
and the Game Awards is also a big social event for people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this combo of people who didn't go to DICE and actually do want to talk with other people in the industry, and that, as a result, resulted in some iffy stuff going on.
Well, they don't allow drinking at the Game Awards after the opening, before when the show actually goes on live.
Opening bit,
no booze on the ground. They shouldn't have been moving around and talking to each other as much as they were. It made them look unprofessional.
Yeah, like, totally agree. Especially when you're dealing with so many live cameras, potentially hot mics.
Coming back from a commercial, and Jeff is standing there, and there's Teal, and they're standing behind him hugging each other when he's trying to do his announcement stuff. I was like, that's so fucking disrespectful, especially when Christopher Judge went 6 minutes over his allotted time.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's still kind of interrupting. Like, it was, I know it's his moment, his game, but it was like, if you were at the Oscars, would you be allowed to do this?
No, they would start to play the music, and you'd get the proverbial giant wooden hook.
And if you were standing up in the middle of the aisle when they're doing their coming back from commercial announcements, they would ask you to leave.
Yeah.
And it was unsettling how unprofessional a lot of the attendees were, and a lot of the people that were staff or people that presenting. Was it that every single person over the age of 40 didn't know how to read a script or teleprompter, or memorize their speeches? They only had like 2 lines to read. How come every old person couldn't do it?
I have a feeling this is a result of the fact that the pandemic, on top of the fact that also I don't think rehearsals were the best this year. They might have not been able to get everyone to do the rehearsal.
Yeah, that's a pretty good point.
That's a factor. But if you're presenting, I can see if you're called in at the last minute presenting, you're an older person, whatever.
And also Al, like,
it wasn't just him.
I just kind of brushed that off.
Even the Williams and that, like, everybody was struggling, squinting to try to read their teleprompter like they had never seen it before.
Yeah, or the
teleprompter was way too far away.
Yeah, far away. Because like when I was there, if this is held in the LA Convention Center, the distance between the stage and where the prompter would sit, that's further than you think.
Wasn't this the Microsoft Theater again?
That I'm not sure about.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It is the Microsoft Theater.
And that's a considerable
Jeff
distance.
always rents the Microsoft Theater.
Yeah, and then I guess next year or in the summertime they're doing that concert and they're trying it at the Forum?
It's going to be at the Hollywood Bowl.
The Hollywood Bowl.
That'll be interesting.
And they might, who knows if they move out. Regardless, that seemed a little ill-prepared. What got me was, if you're nominated for an award and you have a reasonable chance of winning, why would you not have a prepared speech or have a speech in your pocket to pull out to keep you on time?
Or at least, here are the bullet points you want to hit. Thank whoever, hi, mom, the dev team, the QA testers, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for your time, and good night.
I'll tell you right now, best performance won't be at the beginning of the show ever again.
Yeah.
But
honestly,
anyway,
best performance should have been towards the end with Game of the Year.
It should have been the second last one. But outside of that, those are my little quibbles ahead of time. Like, I feel like you could see Jeff was very visibly angry. Visibly angry. One
thing that I will say to talk about the pre-show for this, I thought that was remarkably well put together because how fast it moved.
Yeah.
And you could tell this is where they put the categories that nobody cared about, like the esports stuff, and which is funny because I'm the esports guy here.
But they put it there because that's what paid the bills to get the show made. The only people outside of the media or outside of us that are watching the pre-show are going to be people that are dedicated to watching streaming all the time, which is the esports players.
Yeah, which I'm very surprised FaZe Clan or Optic didn't get it because they have more money than God. And I can't remember who won this year, but I was like, wow, that's a bit of an upset.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, these are just the little points. We should probably get into the main show. It's just, these are things that you knew people were going to want to talk about and hear about. It's just, it felt odd. Like, I know people are coming back from the pandemic and that, but maybe this is like testing the waters. I feel bad for anybody. I feel bad for Jeff because he worked hard on this and you know that the timing and pacing was very important, specifically to the Twitch drops and the contract he had with Steam to give away the Steam decks and all this other stuff. He feels bad because if you go overtime too, when you're allotted streaming time's one thing there, but the streaming in other countries where they might be on regular TV, you could be paying. He might have had to pay an extra several $50, $60, $70, or $100,000 extra just to go overtime. And
when you rent a venue like the Microsoft Theater, you go over, you better believe you are paying.
Yeah.
Because that's you have to pay for extra security, that's extra fire department, that extra, like, it adds up fast.
So I feel bad for him. I feel bad for anybody working as a production assistant that had to deal with they're not going to get the shit kicked out of them from the top management, but they're feeling the stress the whole night. And when people start to go over on their timing, or it's so cringe because they're so slow, they're forgetting their lines. They're not thinking about how bad it is for the actor. They're thinking, oh my God, the rest of the show's thrown off.
Yeah, because it throws off timing. It throws off certain place spots and everything. And it was funny. One joke that was constantly made throughout the night, pardon me, was, well, I guess Steam is going to give out 1,000 more kind of Steam decks right now because every minute they were giving out a 512 gigabyte Steam deck.
For the first 60 minutes. But
yeah.
But it wasn't.
No, that was the entire show.
No, it was.
No,
sure?
that was literally the whole show.
Yeah,
they had said it was 60.
I was watching on Steam. I was trying to get
because the advertisement from them said the first 60 minutes of the show. and it was supposed to be tied to gameplay being shown. And the longer the speeches went, the
more
longer
Steam
it went.
decks they were giving out.
Yeah. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that all ends up. I mean,
And
obviously,
as such, Jeff made some jokes about
Which
it.
it was funny.
And
One of the
he's-
trending topics was a guy who won during Christopher Judge's speech. Guess who won?
yeah, MILF Hunter.
Milf Hunter.
No Hunter. And then they actually changed what they were showing. They changed it to just
User, whatever.
just the Steam ID number.
Now the question is that just a random joke name, or is it literally the
porn channel?
adult brand?
Wouldn't that be funny as hell?
And then it's going to show up in one of their movies.
Oh my god, yeah, this is the thing we won from the
but-
Game Awards. Thanks, Jeff Keelan.
But yeah, so I mean, that's outside of that. We should probably get into the main show. It's just this was crazy because we're going to talk about the really ridiculous stuff.
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, overall, I think a lot of the awards. Actually, Alex and Ken, I think this is the year we called most of the
Yeah.
awards correctly, and
Yeah.
that felt kind of nice. I'm
And-
not
and
gonna lie.
Even ones that we were upset about, we're like, man, it wasn't that it was a surprise. It was that we were like, we were hoping.
Yeah, like I had a feeling that Direction and Game of the Year was going to go the way it did, and then everything else was God of War.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
Like not even a question.
I felt like Horizon had to be nominated because it was really well made. It had the
I
problem
think
of coming out in
Horizon
the year with these
surprised
two
me.
games.
I was surprised Horizon didn't win art.
yeah,
'Cause that
Horizon
game is
looked
fucking
really
gorgeous.
good. Yeah,
if,
we're.
if you pull up, Mike, there's the Wikipedia page at the top of that link there to the
oh,
right.
okay, yeah.
To
All
the
right.
right.
There we go. Yeah, we are.
Wikipedia. Up, down. Wikipedia. Up. Right there. To your
Oh,
right.
right. Hi. Sorry.
The link's staring us in the face.
There we go. Sorry, yeah.
Because they will have all the results now, too. So if you go down, it'll have this year's...
Yeah, there we go.
yeah, there we go. So we've got all that up there. We'll pull it up as we go. But as far as what we can remember, I think this had more commercials than any other year ever.
Honestly, that's
Yes,
what
good.
made me tune out. Because I wasn't sure what's an announcement, what's a new trailer, what's a commercial, and the last 45 minutes, I just kind of listened.
It was 5 minutes of commercials every 10 minutes of show.
Yeah, and that felt excessive.
And there are a lot of people complaining about that. I know it's to pay the bills, but like, you know what might have paid the bills? Charge the people admission to be there in person.
I think Samsung paid a butt ton of money.
Samsung and a lot of the and Ho whatever it is, the company that makes Genshin.
Yeah, Genshin Impact.
Well, yeah. Well, Genshin has money to burn.
And then there were a few others, but it was Samsung. That was them being
Yeah,
the big sponsor.
Samsung mostly.
Because their logo was popping up in between ads when they weren't even talking about it.
Was that the one where if you scan the QR code, you get an extra
Yeah,
controller?
so we both have a 980 Pro in our PlayStations.
No, that was Verizon.
Oh, Verizon?
Verizon was
Verizon
was
had
the controller deal.
Yeah, the controller deal. The Samsung 990, which is the new version of what we have, which is even faster and more power, yada yada yada. Good device, but it was like the clear big sponsor this year, which is fine. You can have that. Hey, you know what I didn't see?
And
It
they
was good.
also had
I didn't see no Doritos
Gaming
or Mountain Dew.
Yeah, or
No, there
Schick's
was one
Hydro Bot.
Doritos commercial.
There was one Doritos commercial.
Yes.
It must have been lost in the deluge.
And there wasn't a commercial for Call of Duty League or the Army because they stopped sponsoring events.
Oh, the Army one. There's controversy behind it.
Yeah, because that was sketch, but yeah.
But yeah, so we want to get into what was we want to get into the winners first, or we want to talk about what yeah, we should do the winners first, then let's talk about the trailers.
Okay, yeah. So for the winner game of the year, I disagree with this one only because I don't think it was as strong a narrative experience. The winner of the year for game of the year was Elden Ring from Software and Bandai Namco. A lot of people like this game, and it became meme worthy very early on in the year.
I had a discussion with my brother about it because he really liked the game, and he's like, "No," he goes, "God of War should have won," but
Yes.
he goes, "I know why they did it. It doesn't have, it's not going to be for everybody. It won because it was the most game of games of the year." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "God of War is becoming more and more of a tailored cinematic experience."
Yeah.
And like you're working your way through.
Yeah.
But it's tailored in such a way that it's really hard to lose. If you want to talk about a traditional game, as in you tackle it however you're going to want, it's hard. You're going to figure out weird things to do it. It doesn't hold your hand, but at the same time, this one isn't as brutally punishing as previous ones. He's like, he goes, it won because it's the best Souls game has ever been a Souls game.
Yes, it's a game that takes a Souls combat approach and adds Breath of the Wild. Go wherever the fuck you want.
So I mean, I would want to play it if I could just be on God mode just to explore.
Yeah, see, that's what I'd want to do. Just let me explore, let me have my overpowered combat. I just want to see the world.
Like, if it eventually becomes like $5 on PC,
Yeah,
we,
sure.
we should get it
Just mod the hell out
and
of
just
it.
mod it out and put a mod on that gives us God mode. Not even to just for the challenge of
Cheese
beating the game. I just want to see it looks beautiful. It has the crazy vistas and all the weirdness. I just want to experience that aspect. I'm not there for the punishment.
Yeah, like I don't like those type of games at all. In this category, this surprised me but made me so happy. Stray got nominated.
Yeah, they're putting at least one indie title in that year, and this one, a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's not good enough." It's like, no, dude. Remember, game does not mean $100 million budget. Best game of the year can also mean what was the most talked about or the most played
Or engaging.
Stray is definitely the most played because it was given for essentially quote unquote free.
Yeah, and it is.
I don't think it should have won the rewards that it got. To be fair,
Well, we'll get to that. I have an opinion about some of that. But as far as game of the year, it's the nomination that you get the nomination because it deserves some praise. It might be the best 5 hours of gaming this year. But again, bite size for a 5-hour game. This was the game of the year.
Yeah. The next category we're going to talk about is Best Game Direction. Winner was, again, Elden Ring, although its contemporary nominees were God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Immortality, and Stray. How would you define game direction?
If we're going to go with me, my belief is a game director... See, there's two different ways you can look at this. If we think of it from a cinematic perspective or movie perspective, God of War should have won because it was directing the narrative to present a very concise artistic direction vision.
Okay.
Here is how we want you. Here's how a director wants you to experience the story.
Okay.
And from that perspective, it should have been God of War. But if you look at it from the traditional game director's standpoint of like the 90s and 2000s, it's how did the whole game come together?
Maybe Horizon then?
No. Elden Ring.
No.
Because
Elden Ring.
think about how many ways you can do things. It's the equivalent of God of War has one way they want you to complete the game. Essentially, you can make little deviations. Elden Ring is the director had to go, okay, we don't have a vision for what order you're supposed to do things in. I have to make it in such a way and have a vision in such a way that you can tackle it any way you want without breaking it. And does every aspect, do all these dispersed pieces fit together? Did I direct the team as a cohesive team to make it work?
Yeah.
And I can see why it won here. That's why it was head-to-head, because it was two diametrically different approaches to game directing, both valid. This literally could have been a flipping of the coin.
Yeah. And like Miyazaki, even Miyazaki in his speech said, like, it wasn't just me that worked on this. Literally all the major directors at FromSoft helped shape this into what it is, and this is kind of the award for all of us.
This is the award for what this company, if you look at how far they've come in 20 years.
Oh yeah.
It is like, look at what we've done with
10 years.
With a
the last
relatively
10 years.
and with a relatively small team in comparison to some of these other games. They're like, here's what we were able to do. We were able to make a instinctively, intrinsically Japanese franchise, Japanese style of game, which is they're going back to the Kingsfield games, which did not do well here because they were so archaic and so much. And he's like, we've crafted a game that is not a Western RPG, but not an Eastern RPG. It is something else entirely.
So the next category, this one, I'm so glad this game won where it was. Best Narrative, and it was God of War Ragnarok. It was up against Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality. Which Immortality, I didn't see until this award show started.
Same, and I hear very mixed things about it as well.
It depends on how you go about piecing together the narrative in Immortality, apparently.
Yeah, and I can get that. I heard it's not for everybody. Horizon
definitely not.
was something that you might have thought, but Horizon story is good. Horizon 1 story is better.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because
and not
I've been
that this is
debating
what
on
I've
getting
seen, yeah.
Forbidden West.
It's not bad, but it's like one step down. And in a year where there would maybe be nothing else out, fine. Plague Tale, it's not a game for me. I hear it's great. It's some of the better European style games out there.
It's a double A game trying to be triple A.
Yeah, and that's cool. Elden Ring, if you had said that would win, I'd say there is no traditional narrative. If you have to piece it together yourself, and if you can potentially play
it is not a traditional narrative.
If you can potentially play the game without ever knowing the story, then it shouldn't win.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, completely agree.
I don't. Yeah, like as someone that really loved Elden Ring, like, yeah, no, it gets the nomination, fine, but it was never going to win.
Yeah,
in my
if
opinion.
there was a category for best lore building, maybe, where you have to seek it out, cool.
Game of discovery.
Yes.
I still think God of War Ragnarok wins on lore too.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah, like this is what I'm saying. That's why we didn't say that, because this was some people thought it was an upset. It's like no.
Yeah,
No, not even close.
God of War
Not
dominated
even
this
close.
category, and rightfully so.
So yeah, it got the award it needed to win here.
Next category we're going to be covering is Best Art Direction. And this one, the winner was Elden Ring. It was up against God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, Scorn, and Stray. This was a toss-up category for me. I would have picked Horizon because it has such a distinctive look, but I wanted Stray to win.
This was the category where if anybody wanted to say God of War, I would have said no. This is where Horizon, because they're both, cross-gen games. This was, this is an interesting category because I believe the only next-gen, was Scorn next-gen only?
Nope.
No.
Yeah. I
So
thought
there literally wasn't a single game here that was current-gen. So out of this,
You're current gen, yeah.
out of this, it probably should have been Horizon. This is the one it probably should have won. Elden Ring, while the enemies are
look cool.
very inventive, when I think art direction, I think
Dark, muddy brown.
I think color theory. I think, what do I think I would like to have a poster on my wall for? And 12-year-old
here's
Alex
the
would have been
kicker,
like,
Alex.
give me all the evil darkness. But adult Alex is like, Horizon's friggin' beautiful.
Yeah, Horizon's gorgeous looking.
Here's the thing. Elden Ring, it does go through the color gambit. The problem is a lot of the really ultra colorful, beautiful color kind of stuff is late game.
Yeah, and
so you're not going to see that.
Whereas the opening shots of Horizon.
Yeah. Horizon, this was its one to lose, and I completely go what the hell?
Yeah,
that was my big surprise.
This
one,
and our audio
really?
design would have been the closest things that could have won.
The next category we're going to be talking about is Best Score and Music. This was a very tough category.
Xenoblade was robbed. This is a case where I love
Xenoblade
God of
was
War.
robbed.
I love God of War. Bear McCreary is a great composer. Mitsuda did much more dynamic work.
Yeah, I haven't even played Xenoblade 3, and I've heard the music, and I'm going, fucking robbed.
Alex has kind of sold me on it. I mean, I love God of War too.
It is, well, it's like Final Fantasy VII. Not like there's 7 different versions of each song, but there is a day and night cycle song for every zone in the game. Every area also does the swelling thing where as more action starts to happen, the music rises. Very similar to the Final Fantasy VII experience, all crammed onto a Switch game. There are super dynamic twists and turns with unique flute. They invented flutes for the game.
Oh, wow.
That were custom handmade to give it a unique sound. How many other games have custom instruments created for the sole use of recording for that one game?
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
It was the most. This is what it should have won. I feel it lost for two reasons. One, not as many critics and people played it, because I found out
not as many outlets played it.
Yeah, not as many outlets played it. This one, when you do the voting on these things, it's open to our votes. I found out that user votes count towards, I think it's between 10 and 20% of the weighted.
It is
count.
It is 10% of the vote is user, and then the rest is outlets.
So
and
a lot of outlets.
And the kicker with the outlets is they only get one vote per outlet.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of outlets, you would be very surprised how underrepresented Canada is.
Considering Jeff always touts
Yes.
Canada, there are two outlets.
Very underrepresented.
One of them is CBC,
CGM.
CBC, and then Comics and Games Magazine.
Yeah.
Which is, let's be honest, a non-factor in the Canadian market, really.
I mean, and we've worked with Brendan before.
Oh, no,
I like Brendan,
It's not
but
to be rude, but like as far as circulation goes,
yeah, where's the other outlets?
where are the national outlets? CBC doesn't even really cover games.
Yeah, I mean, it's exceptionally rare. I mean, CP24 has a more consistent coverage.
So there's two in Canada, and then like I understand Brazil having a bunch, but like you'd have a country in like Europe that's a tenth of the population of Canada, and they got 6 outlets.
Yeah, why is Victor Lucas not there for that specifically? I mean,
I have
he's a voice.
I don't want to speculate. I have my thoughts as to why. I think it's a beef somewhere along the line somewhere.
Could possibly
because
be,
he like Canada is not the biggest market ever, and a lot of the American outlets have Canadian contributors, so they're probably counted as that. But Victor Lucas predates everybody. He predates G4. He predates Tech TV. He predates like his reviews.
He's old school 90s.
His EP stuff started in I think 96 or 97, and he was covering like the toy shows and stuff in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like I believe Jeff started a year or two after him, and even they've worked together in the past, way back.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that he's not there. And I mean, he doesn't have the hugest presence, but in Canada, if you're on an outlet, he's known.
Yeah, I mean, you say Gaming Canada, you think Victor Lucas.
Well, because he's still flown out to events all across America to do private press screenings for things that other bigger YouTubers don't get, because he has the connections. Why isn't he on the list?
Yeah.
So there's some
weird.
I have a feeling, my thing is there's a beef somewhere along the line of somebody involved.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's interesting to me that Canada, that Jeff talks about so much, has only 2 people, and almost every other country has 5 or more.
Yeah, so weird. Next category is Best Audio Design, and the winner was God of War Ragnarok. Not the one I would have picked, but I can see why.
This would have been Horizon for me.
Gran Turismo for me, because all the work that they go into the cars.
That's probably the best thing that the game has. I enjoy the game, but it's not as good as previous Gran Turismo.
Call of Duty was also nominated here, and I'm the Call of Duty guy here. Sure. Elden Ring, maybe. And Horizon Forbidden West. Honestly, I think Gran Turismo should have got this, but God of War, I'm pretty happy with that. Next category is one of the biggest ones of the night, Best Performance. So Kratos got this.
This was a no-brainer, honestly. This year there wasn't really any competition. Well, I mean, Ashley Birch.
Everybody here gave a really good performance.
Yeah,
like this was a hard year.
Atreus, even Tale Requiem, Ashley Birch was the only contender, but when you know the backstory,
Atreus was really good too.
But when you know the backstory of how hard Christopher Judge had and the struggles he went through to get this recording done, and what the company did for him to let him record with his surgeries he had to have, pandemic problems and all this, I get it. He had that super long speech that was not just cringe. It was to the point where somebody should have pulled him off stage.
The last 2 minutes were really emotional, but the first 5 were really rambling.
It was 8.5 minutes long.
Yeah.
What should have been a 2-minute speech.
I don't think he expected to win. To be honest.
Well, that's the odd thing. Why was he not prepared when it was clear he was going to win?
I don't know, because the guy who played Atreus is good.
I think he thought that Sonny was going to take it.
Maybe that's true.
I honestly thought he.
But is it not? he's not nominated for that many awards anymore. Like, he used to get a lot of nominations for
Saturns and all that shit,
Leo Awards, like the Vancouver Awards for television and science fiction, Saturn Awards, all that stuff. But you'd think if you're not nominated for that many, it's been a few years, wouldn't you have your speech ready?
Yeah.
If you've only got one or two that you're going to go to in the next year or two.
Now, this next category, can somebody explain this to me? What is Games for Impact? And I'm not saying that to be, you know...
From my understanding...
Games for Impact is games that point towards minorities, point towards certain psychological stuff. Basically, stuff that acknowledges things that games don't normally acknowledge.
Basically, Michael, points of contact, like things that deal with trauma and mental health in a healthy way. Touching base on representing and shining a light on marginalized communities.
Okay.
And the third one would be things like, and it can fit into those categories, things like sexuality, religion, beliefs like that, as well as things that are for social change. So if you wanted to make a game for children that wasn't boring, but really brought to light things like recycling and deforestation, things like that.
Oh, yeah. So out of this category, I only played one of these games. I reviewed it on the show. Endling Extinction is Forever, which Alex described to me as that Fox game, and not the only Fox game I played this year, I might add.
This is the one Fox game which I didn't mention to you was what it
going
was
to tear your heart out. Jesus, this game was hard, but it was such a good game.
And looking at it, it was nice that it got nominated. I think it was pretty clear that As Dusk Falls was going to be there because it was ambitious and different.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't played it yet, but it's on Game Pass. Did you play that at all, or any of those games there, Ken?
As Dusk Falls was on the list to play. It just wasn't able to get to it.
Yeah, not yet.
Best ongoing game. This one, I'm kind of surprised. I'm surprised and not surprised.
I called it because all I could hear online was how much better in the last 2 years this game got.
Yeah. So for best ongoing, it was Final Fantasy 14 or 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. So it was up against Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. All of these guys have really supportive communities, really good esports scenes, really good communities built around them. I don't know much about Final Fantasy 14, so you guys tell me.
I don't play it either. I just know that. Remember how WoW used to get really good expansions back like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
They're still getting major
It's the new
expansions.
WoW. It is the new WoW.
They took, it was like 3 or 4 million subscribers from WoW, jumped ship, and haven't gone back, and they've gone over here.
And also, ironically, it is considered the retirement home for any fighting game player.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that have left.
A lot of the big FGC guys who have retired play Final Fantasy 14.
Huh.
They took their audiences with them. I know it's weird, eh?
Yeah, that's not the crossover I would have expected. The next one, best independent game. This category was stacked too.
This was the one where it was like, okay, Sifu, Tunic. Now my question was, did Tunic count because it was in early access for so long?
Let's say, that was my thought. Thinking like, how's this game been out for a while?
Tunic was not in early access.
Oh, I'm sorry. They had that demo out for what, like 2 years?
They had the demo out for forever.
I don't think Tunic could win because it's too difficult.
Yes.
That's
why I don't think it was going to win.
Neon White, I didn't have any interest in, but I know
I saw the
did.
trailers and it looked cool. That's it.
I've played it. Neon White is a great game to play. The only problem is its story is cringe as fuck.
Sifu is really almost too hard, but some people
better
like
now
it.
with the accessibility.
This was a clear cut between Stray as the leader and Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah.
And Cult of the Lamb
was between those two.
is indie the game, whereas Stray is almost touching upon mainstream.
Yeah, like Stray, there was...
I mean, it's a mainstream game.
Stray
released as an independent game.
Yeah, Stray took this simply because everyone played it.
Yeah, and it honestly, it did what a lot of games couldn't. It took the idea of a meme where you play as a cat it made it emotional.
Well, and since it was announced and shown at the PS5 announcement, people were like, "Ooh, when's that cat game coming? When's that cat game?" And people say that over and over again. And then when it showed up, it's like, it's exactly what we wanted. It didn't have to be bigger than this.
Yeah, like it was great. Alex came over and played about through half of it for me, just so I could watch.
To get you started, and your big concern, as well as some of my other friends who messaged me, was, does the cat get hurt? Does the cat die? And they're like, I don't want spoilers, but I have to know this before I'll play because it will be very emotionally damaging if it is. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no. The cat gets hurt in the first 5 minutes. He limps. It's very sad. And then he gets better and gets a friend.
Yeah.
And that's all I had to tell you. And that's all I had to tell my other friends. And they were able to make it through there because, you know, some people are dog people. Some people are cat people. And we have some friends that are so much cat people that if the animal looks like a cat enough realistically and it behaves like a cat, they will feel the emotional scars.
Yeah, and the community for Stray, in terms of the modding community, people mod their own cats into it, so that's pretty awesome. Now,
this game is a game that anybody can play. Like, Blair could probably play this.
Yeah, and you saw people like, what's that guy, the dude that's like got the cat show where he trains like cats that are mean,
Jackson Galaxy.
He played like the first few minutes of it, or first like 15-20 minutes. Hasn't played a video game like ever.
Yeah.
Played it on YouTube or whatever, and he's like, man, it was showing that they really got the metaphors right. And then it was so popular that he ended up going back to do a whole playthrough.
That's cool.
And some other people did that would never be never play games, because it was enough that they could get through it, and even the more difficult parts are not that difficult.
Oh, wow. Best kind of mobile game, we're just going to kind of breeze over this category. Actually, the next couple of categories we'll just kind of breeze over. Best mobile game, me and Ken called this pretty easy. In fact, Ken, you got me into this. Marvel Snap. This game is stupid fun.
If it had been Diablo, people would have rioted.
Yeah, oh my god.
Well, yeah, but people are getting a little iffed about Marvel Snap currently because the two things that are sitting in the store that are paid are expensive as fuck.
Yeah, like I will never buy the currency for this game. I will just play through the free stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's fine.
I mean, like, I'm going to pay for the battle passes because I play it so much. I mean, like, it's $10 a month to get the battle passes. It's way more expensive up there in Canada. I know that.
Yeah.
But, like, the battle passes are... it's a game that knows how much time it wants to take from you and literally tells you, stop playing.
Yeah, like for me, I can play... If I play Marvel Snap, it's maybe once, maybe twice a day for 5 minutes, I'm done. And that's all I really need.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm over 1,500 collection level, so...
Oh my god.
And I'm sitting on a butt ton of currency.
I think I hate you, Ken.
Like, upgrade my... Well, I got in the beta, too. So I was already, like, 500 collection level ahead of you.
Oh, my God.
From the get-go.
The next one, best community support. This one, now that I know about Final Fantasy XIV, I'm not surprised. But Apex Legends has a very strong community. Destiny, I'm surprised there's still a community there. Fortnite, everybody still plays it. Don't know why. No Man's Sky, kind of surprised, actually.
They needed to get at least 5 nominations.
No Man's Sky has become the quintessential we fixed it in post game.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes. Alex is the only one of us that I know has a VR. Did you play any of these?
I have to find it and plug it in and charge it. No, I didn't receive any of them for review, so I didn't buy them.
Now, this next category...
But it was Moss Book 2, which I have heard is great.
For innovation in accessibility, I have played most of these. God of War Ragnarok as the winner for accessibility, I disagree. Last of Us.
Yeah, I
Part
think
1.
Last of Us. Yeah, I thought Last of Us was going to take it.
I could also make a pretty convincing case for The Quarry, which we just recommended on our holiday gift guide, and Alex is going to play through during the holiday break. Because that's like a giant interactive movie. It's taken what Until Dawn did and made it better. It's really,
and then
really fun.
Going into Dark Pictures Anthology, some accessibility activists have been kind of pissed at them because the accessibility functions of Quarry did not translate to Devil in Me, which just came out in November.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll get a patch.
Hopefully the next Dark Pictures has all that accessibility, which would be really nice.
Best action game. Me and Alex were literally typing in our little group chat, okay, fuck it, we riot, because we wanted this game to win and it didn't.
And then I saw which one, and I'm like, yeah, I would say, okay, Bayonetta 3 is great, but it needs to run at full frame rate.
Does it? See, my thing is, the one game I wanted to win was Shredder's Revenge. That game is the best Turtles game that has ever been made. It has so much replay value. There is talk of DLC. It's a great game. Call of Duty, it's a good FPS, but it's not the best action game this year.
I think it's mostly because Bayo 3 is the culmination of everything that Platinum has made up until this point. Quite literally, because from what I've seen gameplay-wise, it incorporates everything
it does
that Platinum has done.
It does. The only thing holding it back is the performance, because it's gone beyond
and also the ending.
what they can do on the Switch.
Yeah.
The ending of that game has pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now, for Best Action Adventure, we had Plague Tale, Horizon, Stray, Tunic. The winner was God of War. God of War was going to take this category easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no discussion here. We know. Now, Alex and Ken, as far as I know, you're my role-playing guys. Talk about this category.
Elden Ring is not an RPG. Elden Ring is an action game with RPG elements.
Yes.
And because if you wanted to rate Elden Ring as the best RPG, you could say Spider-Man was the best RPG a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of situation. It definitely is.
Live Alive should not win. It was a fun game, and it was on my list for this year's gift guide as a honorable mention or stocking stuffer.
It's very niche, right?
It is. Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Performance issues?
RPG Lite, not the best RPG. Pokemon will never win best RPG because it doesn't do enough RPG. Like, it is.
It's a collection challenge.
Pokemon is the best RPG 1995 produced, if you don't count Final Fantasy VI, and that's what you can say for every single Pokemon since. It's a fun game. It's just never the best in the genre. Triangle Strategy, the strategy game, RPG, you want to call it. It's great. It's not going to be. It's not top
I would say
tier.
Triangle Strategy is more strategy game than RPG. So.
Xenoblade Chronicles was the clear winner this year.
Yeah,
not
that's
even a
what
question.
I heard.
Like, Star Ocean is a better RPG than Elden Ring is. It really is. It's a better RPG than Elden Ring. I'm not saying Elden Ring's a bad game. I know it's a fantastic game. It's not an RPG.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to Elden Ring for a story.
I wouldn't consider Elden Ring an RPG.
Elden Ring is more of an action adventure game in the same vein as God of War.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this next category, this was covered in the pre-show, and I'm not surprised that it won. Me and Alex were talking about this beforehand. It was a heavy contender to win before this event happened, but after Kevin Conroy passed away in the middle of November, there was no way Multiverses was not going to win.
Yeah, DNF Duel is a good game. JoJo is a remake of a remaster of a game from PS3. King of Fighters is fine.
If it were down to the FGC kind of stuff, I would say it's DNF Duel and Multiverses.
Yeah.
Period.
KOF 15 hasn't gotten the audience that they thought it was going to get. And Sifu is not a fighting game. Sifu is a beat 'em up.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Every single goddamn time the Game Awards fighting game category comes up,
it makes no sense.
There's always at least one game that does not that isn't a freaking
because
fighting game.
they have a requirement. Look, every single category has to have 5 games.
I mean, if like that's the case for like that, then why wasn't the TMNT Cowabunga collection?
You know what would have fit better in there? Didn't the Nickelodeon fighter come out this year?
No, that was last year.
Well, then you know what? Blah.
Best family game. Alex called this one. I was hoping for a different winner. Kirby got this one.
It was gonna be Kirby, man. It was gonna have to
It's Kirby.
I figured Switch
it's the best
Sports might have got
Mario and Rabbids. Great game, but it's a strategy game, and it's not the best for family, but you can do it. Lego Star Wars, nobody talked about.
It's Lego.
Switch Sports.
It's Lego.
No.
You expect what you expect, and to be fair, that Lego Star Wars game has everything.
Oh, it's great. It's nothing new. This was going to be between Splatoon and Kirby. If it was in Japan only, Splatoon would have won.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Yes.
Kirby, this is the highest selling Kirby game of all time.
Yeah. Like, Alex, you've kind of sold me on maybe picking this up on Boxing Day.
It is Kirby. It's Mario Odyssey with Kirby, and I guess easier, but not easier. There's harder elements in this. The overall game is a breezier play.
See, that's what kind of sells me on it. The next category, of course, it was going to be fucking Gran Turismo for best sports racing.
Well, there was no real good what FIFA?
There was nothing else out.
FIFA wasn't ever going to win. F1 nobody played.
PGA should have been nominated.
Yeah,
it was a good game.
PGA is actually better than NBA as a sports title, and less intrusive as far as the ads. Ollie Ollie World, does that really count? So I mean, it was kind of obvious that by default it was going to win.
Best sim game, Mario took this, and it was against Dune, Spice Wars, Total War, 2 Point.
As much as people in the sim genre really love the sim genre, they're mostly PC gamers.
Yeah.
Mario Rabbids is on Switch.
People were losing their minds that Warhammer didn't win. I'm sorry, but Warhammer is not pulling any new players in.
Exactly. It's a toss for me. It was a toss up between Warhammer and Mario Rabbids, but I went with Mario Rabbids specifically because it's on Switch.
This is
Just period.
baby or family's first strategy game.
Yeah.
Even more so than Kingdom
Baby's
Battle
first
was.
XCOM.
It is, and it did the unbelievable thing of being an Ubisoft title that felt like it was developed in-house at Nintendo.
Yeah. Best multiplayer game. This is kind of a weird category for me because I've played most of these. Splatoon 3 won, but it was up against COD, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, and Shredder's Revenge.
This was Turtles' one to lose. The only thing I realized why Turtles might not have won, the multiplayer had some weird lag issues.
Yeah, especially in the first couple of weeks of launch. Yeah.
And if it had launched maybe in a better state that way, maybe a little better. But Splatoon, I don't get it.
It's fun. I mean, it's a fun game. I just don't know if the community's still there.
The community is still there. Trust me, the community is still there.
It's the biggest shooter in Japan.
Yeah, I haven't played it since like my review period, which sucks is I loved it.
It is a monster hit in Japan. This is literally the biggest IP that Nintendo has put out for years in Japan.
Wow.
It is a monster.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
it hit 10 million copies in Japan alone.
Oh wow.
They actually moved systems there.
Oh wow. I'll tell you, there was no way COD was going to win it because COD has the same audience year to year. Overwatch 2 is Overwatch 1.5, and don't get me wrong, I love Overwatch, but I have not played it since my sister got it for me for my birthday back in October.
This was real, and Multiverses is fun. This was really between Splatoon and Turtles.
Yeah.
It was between, do I want couch co-op or do I want online?
Something different, yeah. And when the game works, Splatoon 3 is great. Like there's no lag, but you can get a frequent drop. So hopefully that's gotten better. Best debut indie? This was Stray's category all the way.
This is where I was confused. What's the difference between best debut indie and best indie? Best debut is obviously for the first game developed by a studio. I think this should have been Vampire Survivors.
Really?
I haven't even played it. It's the
Period.
#1 game on Twitch for streaming for new games.
It created a genre.
Fair enough,
literally
okay.
created a genre.
and it's like $3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's dirt cheap. It's also free on mobile.
See, I think that Stray should have won Best Indie, and then this should have
Yes.
won Best Debut, because wasn't this like a one-person
Yep.
team?
Now,
It is one man.
this
one
one,
man.
most anticipated is Zelda. No shit. But it was also up against Final Fantasy 16. Okay, sure. Resident Evil 4. Okay, yeah, sure.
Hogwarts,
I get it.
Hogwarts is not anticipated anymore.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to
Yeah,
that. Like
Hogwarts died.
with the amount
That game's going to
of,
die.
with the amount of baggage that IP has, and David Zaslav from Warner Brothers said in an earnings call in the last month, the Wizarding World franchise is effectively dead.
As they're not making any more
Yes.
movies. And in his statement, they didn't count the Fantastic Beasts movies as even movies they made because they were so disappointing to them.
Yeah, I mean the first
Well,
Fantastic
not to
Beasts
mention,
is okay.
not to mention, like, okay, here's I saw the final Fantastic Beasts film, and it is better than the first two.
Really,
Because it-
the second one was holy shit.
The second one dropped the ball specifically on a couple of aspects. Also, like, Mads Mikkelsen as Grindelwald is the best version of Grindelwald out
Yes,
of all three.
for sure.
And that's fine. Starfield, I think, dropped off as well.
It's because
Yeah,
it got
Starfield
pushed.
dropped off.
Because the dead
It
cow
got
eyes.
pushed, and it finally showed off what it was, and everyone went, "That's it."
Well, I said to Alex,
It's longer, more sparse, boring, broken Fallout with dead cow eyes.
when I saw it, you were sitting here
The
with
reason why it got pushed is because they don't want it broken. That's
when
why.
when it came out. I remember me and Alex were sitting here. We were recording something that day, and I said to Alex, "Dude, pause that video." And one of the weapons was a Fallout 4 plasma rifle.
How about the fact that the font was ripped right from Andromeda?
I was like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit!"
And to the point where people were making comparison videos showing it was the font. And that's probably a font that's going to change later on, but it's like, oh no. You took the font from a game that people notoriously hated at launch. It got better, but they hated it at launch. Best adaptation, Arcane. It was between Arcane and Cyberpunk. Let's be real.
Yeah, for sure. Although
Yeah.
Cuphead is really
Think-
good.
Yeah, no, I think Arcane was the one that was going to win. This was a category made for Arcane to get an award.
I was hoping Cyberpunk could get it personally, or Cuphead.
Cyberpunk is good. Cyberpunk is really good. I think my one minor issue with Cyberpunk is it takes a while to pick up.
And Sonic 2,
Like episode 4.
like Sonic 2,
First
yet another strong contender. Why in the fuck is Uncharted here?
Because they needed 5.
That's ridiculous.
Because they needed 5.
Players voice.
I thought Uncharted
Oh, yeah.
was fine, but it wasn't the best.
That's
thing
not Nathan Drake
out
to
there.
me. I'm sorry. That's fucking
No.
Spider-Man. Fuck off.
I think he sold me by the end of the movie.
Which is fine. Like it's a fine movie. It's not a good enough movie.
yeah. Player's voice. This screams shenanigans.
This
to
was
me.
Uh,
the one that they already pulled the
Well-
bots out, and that's why Sonic lost.
Yeah, that's why
Genshin
Sonic
Impact,
lost.
but it's because Genshin Impact has, well, there's two things. It's not necessarily bots, but it kind of has the support of the Chinese Communist Party.
Oh.
So it's the kind of thing where people that play it in China have to vote for it. Like, you're told it's your patriotic duty to vote.
Yeah.
So take out the people that will vote for it, even if it's garbage, because China better than everybody else is the opinion they have. And
The only thing I know about the game is some of its artwork looks cool.
players,
That's all I know about
Oh,
it.
it's a beautiful. Like, I respect the artistry of the game. It's the game, and the gameplay is fine. Like most China games, the gameplay is fine.
but not exceptional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the game. This was the category for Stray's cat people to win.
Yeah, I thought it would have been between Stray, God of War, and Elden Ring.
But yeah.
This was a very weird category.
This was the category so that China will pay the bills for their sponsorship.
All right, so
Pretty
a couple
much.
of these
do
categories.
we want to read the esports at all?
The only one that's worth mentioning is Best Esports Game. It was up against Counter-Strike, Dota, League, Rocket League,
Didn't
and Valorant.
Didn't I say Valorant would pay for the win?
No, you were skeptical of Valorant because you asked me, is there a community there
I
still?
said no Valorant. I said it would be League.
Yeah, I thought it would have been League too
Yeah.
because there's always stupid money involved.
It was between League and Valorant. I will point out the winning event of the year. I have friends who are really big into League, and actually he actually got paid to cosplay at the World Championships this year.
That's cool.
And he was like, this is the best World Championships I have ever been to, and I've been to a lot of them.
Because isn't the Valorant game the game where there's like $50 skins?
Yes.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's
It's cool, but you can only play it on PC.
and this is pretty much
It will be coming to console next year, early next year.
great.
I'm not going to play it. I'm sorry. I'm a COD player.
one of the few solicited emails that the feedback email got regarding sponsorship deals.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now, was from a third party, not directly through Riot, offering Valorant promotion. Basically, I'm not going to say that it was Riot doing it. They basically wanted us to pay us to advertise that it's the best game ever without us playing it or giving our proper opinions. And anytime a company does that, I say no.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want me to evaluate your game, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
but I'm not doing it beforehand.
Or if you want me to say something about your game and you want to give us a script, yes, I will not accept a script where I'm supposed to, in the script, make it sound like it's my opinion.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's no.
So I was like, no. And it's not on Riot. It's just whatever company was using that tactic.
Whatever PR place.
I was like, no. And dude, it's not every PR place. We get a lot of solicitations from people that are not that don't pull that. But this was worded in such a way like those ones we got about crypto last year, where I had to actually tell one of the PR companies to fuck off.
Yeah, I actually told somebody this year. Please do not
fuck
send
off.
us again.
I said 90% of what you send us is NFT. This, I'm telling you this right now. I've been very polite. You need to fuck off. We are never talking again, or we will publicly shame you for doing this. And then they never contacted me again. And it's fine because 90% of what they sent was trying to trick our audience into buying into crypto schemes and pyramid schemes.
Yeah, no. I
And
will
I'm like,
not
no.
cover crypto.
I'm like, no. I will be very polite to everybody else, but I'll give you 2 or 3 times where you send me that bullshit and I'll be polite before I tell you to fuck right off. And guess what? Those companies that they wanted us to talk about are already gone or being sued right now.
Yep, and since the FTX collapse of the NFT marketplace,
Take a guess as to what one of the things we were supposed to advertise was.
not surprised.
And that was like 2 years ago. So yeah.
The rest of the esports thing, the only thing I'm going to say in here, there is no Call of Duty League. There is no Halo World Championships. And Cloud9 and Optic and FaZe did really good work in this space this past year. Esports.
The problem is the space has
shrunk.
The space has shrunk tremendously.
Yeah. I'm glad that Evo got nominated. It didn't win. League won, and deservedly so.
I think next year Evo is going to have a run for its money.
Oh yeah,
because we've
Street
got
Fighter 6 and Tekken.
Street Fighter 6, Tekken, whatever the hell.
Multiverses will be there too.
Isn't there one from Riot
Multiverses will
Games
be
coming
there.
up too?
Yeah.
I don't think that's coming out this year or next year.
Maybe
as it
that's a
were.
2024
I don't think it's
game.
going to hit Evo. That's a 2024 game for sure.
And lastly, this category, and it's weird because all three of us work in the content creation space. I know one of these names. It's only because I think he left Twitter.
I know Nibelian because Nibelian was known for just leaking information.
Yeah.
How was
I know
that?
Nibelian. I know Nibelian and Ludwig.
Who the hell is
Ludwig
he?
is like, he is part of Mr. Beast's entourage. And he's part of the gaming space. He's also friends with some of the anti-tubers that are out in Japan that I know. So there's connections.
So like
he has like connections with people that I watch.
Okay.
That's why I know him.
I didn't know what Mr. Beast was, even though it's the number one. Isn't the number one YouTuber?
Something like that. All I know is he has
he is.
hamburgers.
I know that he has hamburgers because I bought his hamburgers, and I was like, "What are these, Mr. Beast burger? These are pretty darn good." I'm like, "Who the fuck is Mr. Beast? How do I not know this is number one on YouTube?" Oh, young kids and like tweens that watch nonstop stupid prank videos. Oh, or stunts. I get it. And then I look at him.
Yeah, I've
you know
seen.
what he looks
I've
like?
seen it. I've seen some of his stuff.
He looks like a French interpretation of an anime of a stuck-up British person with buck teeth.
See,
And I'm like, that's mean, but that's what I see. What I see, he looks like a cartoon character.
like, I don't know. Like, it's weird. I mean, if we're talking about content creators on the internet, I'd rather see somebody like Mark Rober win. He's the engineer from NASA who does the glitter bomb prank every year.
But it has to be
Gaming adjacent.
content creator.
Yeah,
right?
like, it's not my thing. Whatever.
But yeah, that's. I mean, cool. Person wins. Congratulations to you. And that's pretty much it. What I'm surprised at is they brought Ken and Roberta Williams out to present the award. I think that was theirs. The Games for Change. I think
Something like that. Yeah.
they got a new game
Games for
coming out
Impact,
for
yeah.
Game for Impact. They've got the new game coming out in a few weeks, and they mentioned the award. They went, how come he hasn't given out a lifetime achievement award like theirs in like 10 years?
Yeah.
Like he made a mention about talking about how they were.
He made an Well, here's the thing. There are two people that he's given it out to, Kojima and them. It's an excuse to give an award to someone.
But shouldn't he do it every year? Have one person that like
One would think.
like somebody, even if it's a posthumous award that the family can accept for somebody who made a very big contribution. Mm-hmm. Like, don't make it a vanity award.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's it for that. If you want to talk about the trailers, we don't have to talk about everything.
The one thing that surprised me was the Transformers game. Like,
Yeah.
it's supposedly like
That was rumored to be happening.
But we didn't know what
That
style of game
there
it was
was a
gonna be.
Yeah, we had no idea what. I think it's like a 1v4 game of some type. We don't know too much more about it. Although some of the concept art is leaked. I'm just going to say this as the resident toy guy here. Some of those toys are going to be really fucking cool.
But again, CG trailer, don't really know what it's about, but it was an interesting way to introduce it. I'm psyched by the Don't Nod game, their first game after changing their logo and company name, which is, why am I drawing a blank? Banishers, right?
Banishers, yeah. That trailer was like, damn, this is gonna hurt me.
Yeah, like, did you see that, Michael? It was the game where the guy is sitting there holding the hand of somebody, and they're talking about, what do? You kill ghosts or whatever. And he's like, no, I banished them. And then it's clearly his like love or whatever, and she disappears, and you realize you're working with your dearly departed to banish vengeful spirits to the underworld. And then it showed like 1 second of the action in the game, and I was like, oh man, it's a full action game, not just the walk around talking simulator. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that.
Cyberpunk looked cool,
Cyberpunk with Idris Elba. It will be paid DLC,
which is fine.
Yeah.
And they said it's
It
going
is
to be
paid
more
deals.
expensive than The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt because it's bigger.
it's more expensive than I think we're expecting.
Yeah, and we'll probably see that middle of next year, I'm guessing. And then Cyberpunk's life will be put to bed. They're already working on a sequel.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other things that I saw. Honestly, there wasn't a lot here that really blew me away.
Well, there's Death Stranding 2, which I am intrigued
Okay.
by, but it has no.
It's Kojima. If you know what you want, if you know what you're getting with Kojima. If Kojima's your shit, then
You're into it.
you're in. If you're not, you're not.
I was honestly surprised we didn't get a Metal Gear remake announcement, but because Kojima's there, no.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not.
Because of that, but also because Konami wasn't listed as anybody that was going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you count
another big-
the TMNT stuff,
Yeah.
but even then, it wasn't them.
It wasn't that.
Yeah, it was
Another big
Tribute
thing-
and .emu.
Yeah, another big thing that was officially announced. It was speculated that
It was speculated that what?
Kevin Conroy is returning
To-
in Suicide Kill.
Yeah.
Yes.
That looked cool.
And that is confirmed to be his last performance. So that's going to be a gut punch, but cool.
That game will sell just because of that.
Diablo had
Yeah.
its date announced a couple weeks before Final Fantasy, which looks great.
Final
but
Fantasy. Well, June is stupid. June
yes,
is going to be
there's
stupid.
3 major games, I believe, in June.
Star
Yeah.
Wars. If any of you motherfuckers bother me on March 17th,
How-
to the dark
how-
side, you will be banished.
How funny is it going to be, Mike, if I get sent the review copy and you don't, and I don't
I
tell
will
you?
stab you
And
in the EEPROM.
And I don't tell you, and then I play 10 minutes and go, I don't really like it, so I'm just going to leave it on my account. And not,
I would hate you so much.
but yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order was one of my unexpected games I played when I was healing from surgery. The guy who played Cal, what's his name? Cameron Monaghan?
Cal Kestis.
He is
Cameron Monaghan, yeah.
He is such a good actor for Star Wars. My God.
Yeah, so we've got that.
He was really happy when he did Jedi Fallen Order, and you could tell, like, when he was doing interviews and stuff for it early on, like, you could tell this was his jam. And you can tell just this little bit of moments that he was on that stage, he was living it up.
Now, I am hoping, and this is, again, inner toy geek, he came out with a Fallen Order lightsaber. I'm hoping that's a sneaky product preview.
100%.
Like, that 100%. Was awesome. Plus, in the trailer, he got the cross-guard lightsaber, which is hinted at in canon early on in Star Wars. It wasn't just a Force Awakens thing. That's going to be awesome to play as a cross-guard saber, and I'm hoping it's probably not going to happen because I like to think every game is like Mass Effect, where you get some reward for carrying a save file forward.
Maybe if you did it on the current gen stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
Because isn't this also current gen only?
Yeah, I don't know, actually.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, because I didn't see anything that says PS4, PS whatever.
Yeah. Other ones, Hades 2, for those that love it.
I never played the first one. Ken, you liked it?
Yes. Hades 2 is... I am so excited for this. Like, I immediately changed my phone background. That's how excited
It's very pretty. Viewfinder.
It
most
is...
surprising thing I think I saw there.
Atomic Hearts was one that surprised me.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to interrupt. It says, we don't have a lot to say on Hades, except that we'll know more later. It looks awesome.
I'm just going to talk to Ken when it comes out.
Yes. Viewfinder. Most interesting indie title. PS5 exclusive, it looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah, it feels very subliminal.
That's the one where you're taking pictures, and then you shift the picture, and it changes what you can interact with.
Really?
Like, it's like a puzzle. You move the viewfinder around, and like, if you're like, oh, over there through the wall there, we can see like a mishmash of a pond. And if you change your angle, the pond becomes a better view, and now you can walk into the pond, and it's like walking through an acid trip.
So it's like Fatal Frame weirdness, but not scary.
No, it's like the dimensional pulling of Ratchet and Clank. Only it makes up a kaleidoscope of the world.
It is a puzzle.
I may have to try that.
It's a puzzle. It's a first-person puzzle-solving game, kind of Portal.
Yeah,
in its design.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Portal meets Kaleidoscope meets Dream Logic.
If it's cheap, I'll give it a whirl, as I'm not good at puzzle games.
Honestly, check out Subliminal.
Okay.
That is the perfect translation of what Viewfinder is going to be. It's Subliminal.
One game I'm excited for, weird trailer, but I'll take it. Street Fighter 6. That looks so cool. And the character creator is so nuts.
Yeah, I'm so excited for SF6 specifically because one, the beta's next week. And also my birthday's the Monday after the beta.
Nice.
Which just like please get me into
you know what? I will email my people at Capcom, Ken. I will see what I can do. Yeah, honestly, Alex, you and I got to make monster characters because you're the demon lord of creating fucked up things.
Yes, I'll do that.
Yeah, it is going to be a very, very good... like, they know they can't F this up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's skip a couple of these.
And there was also... And that also leaves, I believe, 2 or 3 characters in the final roster that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah,
for sure. Let's skip some of the smaller trailers. We don't have to.
I just want to talk about the Super Mario thing for a minute. The more we see out of this movie, the better it looks.
Better it looks, except for Pratt.
Yeah, except for Pratt. But even in this trailer, he wasn't annoying.
He sounds
weird still.
Unexcited.
Yeah.
He sounds like a mixture of. He sounds like he's trying to do it, but not. At the same time, it feels weird.
Yeah. Okay. Rapid fire trailers. Post trauma looks like the medium. Neat.
Yeah, well, post trauma, I'm like, oh right, another Silent Hill like.
Exactly. Replace got a new trailer. That's the pixel art looking thing.
Oh yeah. That looked cool.
Looks cool.
Hellboy looks awesome.
Hellboy looks awesome.
Oh,
It looks really good.
yeah.
Baldur's Gate's getting the full release window on that. That's great.
Yep.
Meet
August.
Your Maker looks interesting if you like roguelikes or rogue whatever it's called.
And that is from the Dead by Daylight guys.
Yes.
Crime Boss looks fucking weird.
Crime Boss looks like, oh great, it's 2012 again. But looks fun. I mean, it's
Michael Madsen and Vanilla Ice in the same game.
Chuck Norris, like
And Michael Rooker.
Aren't we 15 years too late for that Chuck Norris meme?
Yeah, I mean, this feels like
Yeah, a little
the
bit.
Expendables joke.
Do you know what? Do you know what it feels like? Hey, let's do Saints Row better than Saints Row.
Yeah. Oh.
There's a Bayonetta prequel watercolor action game. Looks kind of fun.
Yeah.
I won't know if it's any good until a little later, obviously. Remnant
Crash is
2,
getting a 4v4 game.
Blue Protocol. It turns out it's an MMO, so I'm not interested. Nightingale is the game created by about a third of the dev team from BioWare that left. Looks cool, but again, PC only right now. Party Animals, Hide and Seek, Among Us expansion.
The Party Animals trailer was hilarious. I laughed so hard
hilarious.
at
It's
that.
it's just a smaller thing. We saw.
Look at this duck. This is not the kind of duck you
mess
think
with.
it is.
Yeah. Horizon Call of the Mountain gameplay. Also, Horizon 2 expansion announced, where you go to the Hollywood Hills. Cool. Forspoken got a demo out. I downloaded it. I'm going to play it this weekend. And the last, I would say, couple big trailers. Let me just pull it up here. Are
The trailer that I'm going to completely wipe from my mind is Earthblade, which is the Celeste creators' next game.
Yeah, because you want to come out of that fresh.
Because that's not out till 2024.
Exactly.
So it's just like wipe from my mind.
Judas is the next game from
the BioShock.
The original BioShock development.
That looks cool.
It looks like BioShock now.
Yeah. All right, sure. Why not?
And then I'd say the big one was, even though it had been rumored, we didn't know what the art style was going to be, is Armored Core 6.
That I thought that was going to be like a weird new style Gundam game.
Now, the rumor is that it's more Souls-like. But it
might get
the
me
rumor
interested.
The rumor is they're incorporating more Souls-like elements to it. Again, that is slated probably for late next year. I'm excited. Like, From Software has become one of those developers that's just like,
yeah, and that's pretty much all the major stuff. We didn't get
and then like the new trailer for Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah, which
coming out
is awesome,
end of
but we
June.
still didn't see any UI or gameplay.
I'm going to trust you to tell me if it's worth buying.
I think
they said it's the final trailer, but it's not the final. It's the final CG trailer.
No. What he said was the final world premiere of the show.
Oh,
he didn't say final.
That makes
trailer.
Sense. So what we're probably going to get, they won't wait till E3 because that's only like a week before the game comes out, or 2 weeks. We will get a Square Enix Presents in like
February,
February.
February.
It's either that or whenever Sony does another State of Play.
I think it'll be before the end of the financial quarter.
It'll be February, March then.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Because Square was supposed to do a showcase this week, and they didn't.
Actually,
also a big thing with that Final Fantasy trailer that I want to point out is Final Fantasy 16 has exclusivity on PS5 until the end of 2023.
Yeah.
One thing.
So
and then it's going to
expect
PC.
it to drop. Expect it to hit PC early next year, early 2024.
The talk is console still has a 2-year on all their games.
Yes.
So it might be, a little longer. Forspoken is a 2-year, flat out.
Yes. Forspoken is a very long.
It's like 2024,
exclusivity
I think,
window.
until.
I think
No,
specifically
2025.
because
2025.
Yeah, I think specifically because Sony paid some money to Square to develop it.
Yeah.
There was something that I did notice, considering it was so close to Dragon Age week. We didn't see anything from BioWare.
Not at all. I figured they would have had a tease for either of them. Maybe
might
they're
have.
waiting till E3.
Probably.
I
talk-
think EA is going to have a really big E3.
I hope so.
Like the talk is
They took
Dragon Age
this.
is this
They
year.
took this year off.
Like literally, like
EA
the talk
took
is
this year off. So
taking when they had to start redoing things by even though the team people have left yada yada yada, when they took it away from being a live service game, that cut away potentially 2 years of extra development time they were going to have to work on.
Good.
So the talk is
Yeah.
it might be holiday this coming year,
Oh wow.
and if it is
I
holiday,
would not be surprised if Dragon Age
Yeah.
hits holiday 2024.
If it does,
or 2023, I mean.
it's potentially head to head with Final Fantasy for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm thinking about it, do you think it's possible that they will do a Dragon Age remastered like they did for Mass Effect?
I think that if we get a Dragon Age trilogy remastered, where they redo the engine for 1 to work properly on modern consoles and fix the bugs in the Xbox version of Dragon Age 2 so it doesn't hard lock you 20 hours into the game half the time.
Also will fix the issues with playing that game on PC because the PC versions are all 3 of them are fucking broken.
The third one, wait, if you play the third one through Game Pass, it actually works.
Yes.
The
problem,
the Origin version doesn't work or
Was
something.
it was the Origin.
well,
version that was bugged.
actually, now the Origin and Game Pass versions are the exact same on
Okay, because
PC.
I did a full playthrough this year with everything maxed out on the third game, and it worked fine. But I had heard horror stories previous to the summer.
Well, that's with the third game. The
Yeah.
first game is impossible to play all of its content because the DLC is tied to an account that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, like if we get a trilogy announced at E3 this summer, that means that Dragon Age comes out 2024.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Unless they want to go gung ho. Like if we get a state of play or what
if they say drop it late summer or drop it like surprise drop, like, hey, it's coming out in a month or 2.
Yeah. Like
And then-
if we get that state of play in January or February and they say it's out in May, we could have Dragon Age in October.
Oh wow, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Because I know
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
your jam. So
And I think at this point, some people are like, it might take forever. I think Mass Effect is
further along than what they're saying.
It's further along than what they're saying, but they are gung-ho getting... If Dragon Age comes out this year, Mass Effect is next year.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that Mass Effect Legendary Edition just came to PlayStation Plus, they want that install base now. So they are thinking ahead.
So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on this. There weren't any other big surprises that...
Yeah, there was no oh my god wow moment this year.
No, everything was... Nothing leaked, luckily, this
Yeah.
time.
Well,
Maybe
some
the
of
Transformers.
some of it leaked.
Was Hades 2
Okay,
maybe a big
so-
surprise?
Hades 2 was the big surprise. Final Fantasy 16's date got leaked, as well as Jedi Survivor's date got leaked.
And
because
and
of
the
posts.
leak of Death Stranding 2 was like...
Rumored?
We knew
Well,
his
Death
new game was
Stranding
going to
2,
be shown.
we knew Death Stranding 2 was being made.
We just
We
didn't
didn't know where it was timeline-wise in terms of production.
And we received confirmation by this trailer that it's not the same game that was rumored to have been coming.
Oh.
The game that he was working on for Stadia that has now moved away is not the same game.
Which we believe which is rumored to be what Xbox picked up.
Yes, as an exclusive for them, because Death Stranding is exclusive to
PlayStation,
Sony. So
yeah.
he's playing everybody. Everybody wants a game, they get their game.
Hey.
And I mean, Microsoft might be happy because everybody that gets a game gets an exclusive IP that is not tied to another.
Yeah.
Because the rumor was that this game was going to be tied to Death Stranding, and what this proved is not. What this means is those rumors were false because people probably saw development builds of both games and didn't realize that they're two separate games.
So, I guess, guys, that pretty much does it for the Game Awards 2022. I guess the only thing we
music, 3 performances.
I didn't know who any of them were. Outside of
I
Bear
don't.
McCreary.
I'm gonna butcher the guy's name. Was it Hosier?
Hosier?
Hosier.
Hosier.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that did that song like "Take Me to Church"?
I believe so.
You'll know the song,
Don't
Mike.
quote me on that, but I believe so.
But I haven't gotten through God of War, but I'm assuming that's the ending credits song based on.
I don't remember. I played so much recently.
That was great.
I believe so.
That performance was great. That you want to talk about Anybody who's using auto-tune and says they need to, fuck you. This guy sounded great live. And it was not backing track. Like,
also,
it was him.
Yeah. Also, the surprise Halsey performance, which is apparently she made a deal with Blizzard, and they're going to be doing some other promotional stuff for Diablo 4
played the song
as
Lilith,
it gets closer to release.
Which was cool. And it was a short little introduction, but that was cool. There was that concert that happened after the show that we didn't watch with the like, what was she, Icelandic or something? She sounded like Bjork.
Yeah.
And she's like, I have a fucked up voice because I did karaoke. I'm like, stop swearing on this show.
Yeah. Jeff's face was like, will you please shut up?
And then here's what's weird. Was this the best Game Awards orchestra performance? No. This was the smoothest, though, where everything blended together. To me, this was the second best performance because of how well it flowed. I still think 2020 with Final Fantasy, Doom, Animal Crossing, they were so dynamic that how they got to the flow, and it was so just amazing. That's the best one. This is the second best.
My issue is that like Stray doesn't have a lot of music that's distinct. To it.
And again, what made me laugh is Xenoblade did not win best soundtrack, yet the flute was the most important thing to this performance. Was it not? Was that the motif that played through? He changed flutes 3 or 4 times.
Also, to be fair, that guy rocked it.
Oh, the
guy playing the flute
so fast.
Just rocked it.
It was 3 distinct ones, and then I think he swapped back to another one. They added a flute to some of the songs that didn't have it to give it some zest. And it's like, you know what? Maybe it should have won the best music because it was the sound that tied all of these together.
We already know what next year is going to be. It's Final Fantasy 16. It's not even a fucking question.
If
the man that
Dragon Age comes out, it's fantastic. It might have a run for its money, but no.
No. Here's the thing: the man that does the soundtrack for 14 as well as is doing 16, he was ridiculous. He's a ridiculous composer. He was still doing stuff when he was in the hospital for 14, and Yoshi P was like, "Dude, stop."
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be that. Here's the only way that 14 doesn't win Best Music next year.
Or you mean 16?
Or sorry, 16. Sorry, yes. Why 16 wouldn't? Is if somehow somebody gets Uematsu to make a game, not for Square, and he does a full soundtrack, and it somehow gets released in the same year.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, who do I pick? Mr. Final Fantasy or current Final Fantasy?
Or Mr. Final Fantasy.
Yes, exactly. Mr. Final Fantasy Grandpa or current Final Fantasy?
I mean, ultimately, I liked most of this year's Game Awards. I would give this a final score of 7.5 out of 10.
This is a B, dragged down because of the pacing and because of the ridiculousness with the troll kid who did or did not get arrested or actually charged.
Yeah, but he was held for questioning.
I think he got arrested.
No, he was not. I've actually been reading about it during the show.
He was transported to the police station, but no charges were filed. As far as I know.
And he's a known right-wing conspiracy person on InfoWars. Well, he's just a weirdo.
But he might also just be trolling, and at the same time, brings up my question: What are your parents doing?
Yeah, dude, where are your parents?
This is funny, and you think this is good? Like, what kind of trash parents do you have?
Yeah.
You can't. How did he get into this event? It was a 21 and over event because of alcohol being served. He's 17.
I'm not sure about his age.
He's 17.
Oh, okay.
He's a minor, and if it happened in Canada, they wouldn't have been able to say who he was.
Yeah.
But in the States, they're allowed to say what his name was.
Yeah. Evidently, he was part of the Hong Kong protests where, he did something on the LA Clippers fan.
From what I can tell, he doesn't believe any of it. It's whatever is going to get me clout.
Yes, exactly. He's one of those fame chasers. So, like I was saying off the top of the show, and as you heard the clip off the top of the show, Bill Clinton woke up very confused Friday morning.
Bill Clinton woke up and went, "What did I do?" And then he immediately went, "What did Hillary do?" "Oh God, what did I do?" Right back to himself. And then nothing? Okay,
I'm just going to go back to bed
now. How great would it be to have Bill Clinton? No, they won't do it because they want to keep class. Have him be a presenter next year?
I would die laughing.
No. Would you die laughing if when the orchestra plays, he comes out playing sax in one of the scenes? For Final Fantasy? He does a little sax play.
Oh my God. If someone, Jeff, if you're listening.
Please. You yes. But anyway, that's
Bill Clinton pays the sax. We're Animaniacs. Sorry.
That's basically my thoughts on the event. It was good.
It was fine.
Pacing. I felt that some of the award winners and presenters needed to act a little more professionally.
Yep. And don't spoil anybody's moment. There were a few people I noticed in the audience would, like, if someone's getting up to do an award, let them accept the award, then talk to them when they're back in their seat.
Yeah.
Don't disrupt them.
There's a few of that. So that's one. Two, the people running the show, the floor managers needed to have a little bit better pacing to get people moving. They needed to actually not just slowly swell the music. They needed to swell it and have somebody. Usually you don't do this. Christopher Judge should have had somebody walk up on stage and escort him off. He was taking far too long.
Yeah.
Far too long. And I mean, like, if that's disrespectful,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He took what should have been a 60 to 90 second speech and made it almost 9 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm glad that you're happy you won, Mr. Teal'c, but we got to get moving.
And it's one thing if it was 9 minutes of talking. It was 9 minutes where 50% of it was silence because he was rambling for words.
Yeah.
And same with Pacino and all that. Whatever. That, and number three is you need to have better security because that was unacceptable.
I'm sure Jeff is clearly thinking about that for next year big time.
If this kid's a troll, great. What if he had a knife and turned around and stabbed the people that won?
Or something worse.
For clout. Or said something bad like, or ripped off his shirt and had some saying on there, or had something really anti-Semitic to say, or did a Hitler salute. And a lot of these things are playing in countries like Germany that would have him off the air and fine him $1 million for having this happen, for allowing it to happen. In fact, I feel worst for the guys, all the people on stage that won Game of the Year there at the end. Mm-hmm. They may not want to come back.
Yeah.
And Namco itself, because Japanese culture, this is the most disrespectful thing. How are they going to save face? Mm-hmm. This is so disrespectful.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny for one moment. On the other hand, but
yes, outside of that, pretty good show.
Yeah.
And all the advertising.
Yes. Yeah. And why was the one hostess wearing a dead Muppet? I will never understand.
Well, I think her shirt got dirty and she had to wear a bath mat from 1977.
Yeah, I was going to say, who did you kill?
I've seen these dresses before. It is a big thing. I don't know why it's a big thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
People are weird. Also, thank you for bringing back Muppets to the show.
Yes.
Although I missed
Jeff knows the Muppets are the best. It's like that Goose Game bit.
I would have paid for DLC for that.
You know what?
Yeah.
It would be great if instead of Animal, he has Beaker next time, and then Beaker says nothing but meeps. And he has to respond like he's understanding what he's saying.
That would be a great bit.
And then they just subtitle it because they throw it on the Jumbotron for the audience.
Yeah.
So you could time the subtitles properly.
Yeah, and you could have the audience in on the bit. That would be great.
To be like
oh yeah, Baker.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was really cool. You could tell Beer was really happy. Like, oh cool, I got an award technically presented by a Muppet. That's freaking awesome.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, who do you want to make a game? Kojima.
Animal Crossing,
Kojima.
We'll talk to the Nintendo lawyers about that. But yeah, guys, so thank you once again, Ken, your input. We love working with you. Me, Ken, and Alex will be working a crap ton together next year in 2023. Tons of loose cannons, tons of prototypes coming up now that our schedules are starting to make sense and I'm not on an operating table, presumably until late next year. So yeah, I won't die. So thank you for an amazing 2022. We've had a fantastic time being involved with all of you. As we said on Holiday Gift Guide, we want you all to have a safe and happy holiday. If you can do something wonderful for somebody, be it a stranger or someone in your family, please do so. Ken, if people want to find you around the interwebs, where would they have to go?
It is at Ken Reels pretty much everywhere, including Hive in case Twitter implodes in the next couple of weeks.
I forgot about that.
It feels like it's slowly imploding at this point. But yeah, kenreels.com is actually where you can get literally all of the socials. That's all right there at kenreels.com. And that will help you basically get in touch with me in some way or shape or form.
Fantastic. And then me and Alex, all of our socials are at the bottom of this post right now at ThisWeekInGeek.net, feedback at ThisWeekInGeek.net. As Alex said yesterday on our holiday gift guide, I want to reiterate this. If you're having a rough holiday season, find people to talk to, but if you can't, feel free to reach out to us. It's not like me and Alex aren't up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning playing video games. But if something more serious comes up, there are professional services to help. Don't be alone. You are loved, and we love you for joining us this past year. So, guys, Alex, any closing words from you for 2022?
Rub, lub-a-dub, friends and grub.
Get swifty?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right, guys.
Happy end of year. Coldness is... I'm dying here, Mike. Help me.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this has been Mike the Birdman and the rest of the Twig crew saying happy holidays, but most importantly, be excellent to each other in 2023. We'll talk to you guys again next year right here on ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Do I have to remind you that we are a network affiliate? And we're in competition with other networks, not with a bunch of punks broadcasting out of a closet?
This concludes our broadcast day.